Hey, hello traders, it's your one and only skill coach Team Legend, and I'm super excited to have you all here today on this one. So this video today is a continuation of the previous video that I posted using this strategy. And if you guys watched that video, in case maybe this is your first time watching this video, then it means you need to watch the previous video in order to understand what I'm gonna say here. All right, so for those of you who watched the previous video, if you remember vividly, I told you guys what I'm anticipating based on this strategy with this volume indicator. All right, so I showed you guys what I anticipated, in the sense that I saw price coming. I told you guys how price, I showed you guys how price reacted based on this volume here. All right, and the reaction the price made to fall deep. All right, and then I also told you guys about the fact that price had some reaction here to push price to the downside. And if you guys remember in that previous video, I took my trade somewhere around here due to the volume that I saw in this indicator here. Then finally I told you guys where you can place your next trade, which was going to be a sell, of which I showed you guys here that I'll be anticipating a sell from here. And I told you that you can actually set a sell limit, all right, exactly on that zone, of which I actually had a sell limit set up in that video, but I didn't place so much trades on it. I just had to put just one sell limit just for the sake of the video that I was teaching you guys. But after the video, I still left the sell limits, having my stop loss above. But one thing I want to show you guys is that you would notice that exactly where that sell limit was created, plus that you can see this, you can see my rectangles drawing straight from the volume on this end. Then, all right, and that's exactly what we could see happen. Price came to that zone and triggered a massive sell. So I told you guys, if you were looking forward to catching spike, that was what you needed to do. And you can see how deep price fell. So what am I saying? This strategy is currently cool and working. So like I told you guys, that you want to use your demo to run it severally, and if you feel you are confident with it, try it out. Okay, try it out. Now, where do you anticipate price could go next? If you observe the volume, all right, if you observe the volume, you will notice there was some volume movement here, and there was a high volume also on this end. Okay, and if you guys remember, I told you that for a volume strategy, the pink is the US, all right, the US session, and I made you guys to understand that the US session usually have more strength and more strength in volume. So whenever you have a high volume from the US, there's usually there's usually a good move in the market. All right, so based on what I see here, I anticipate that if price would come to this level in the future, there's gonna be some nice reaction. All right, there's gonna be some nice reaction within this zone. And nevertheless, even within this zone also, within this zone, there can also be a nice reaction in the future. So we're actually going to check it out to see if that's true or not. So just within here, now let's see. So if you observe, you also get to see how price came within that zone, reacted before the massive move to the upside. All right, before the massive move to the upside. So this indicator actually is an indicator to help you know where there is high volume And anywhere you find high volume, there's every tendency that there will be a massive reaction. That is to say, if price is coming to the downside and there is a high volume generating around that zone, there's every tendency that price will shoot back up. And if you have things marked out, maybe your support and resistance, because you want to always make sure you have other confluences, and then you find out that price came around that zone and broke out of probably your structure or whatever you're looking out for and had a retest, then you should be well assured that there will be a massive sell. So that's why you want to do what you want to test, to run the strategy on your demo account in order for you to know how to properly use it, be confident with it before you place a live trade. Do you understand now? So let us observe here. Price, as we can see on this zone right now, the volume indicator is currently still generating, is still creating. All right, now this yellow, which is this orange is the Asian session. Now I told you guys that I love more of the US session and the Euro session, which is the blue. All right, the Euro session, which is the blue indicator on the volume, and the US session, which is the pink one. I prefer using it more for my confluence than the Asian session. That does not mean the Asian session also does not usually have effect in the market. It usually does also, but not as effective as the US and the Euro session. So for me, I usually prefer using the US session or the Euro, okay? But based on my observation on this indicator, I have observed that the US or the EU usually have more strength in the market movements more than the Asian session. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't also trade the Asian session. If you find good moves and good confluences, please feel free to trade it. Besides, most times I usually trade it also. Okay, yeah. So another confluence you can also have is, now you have the Asian session. You can observe the amount of volume it creates, and then when a new session comes up on it, all right, if you see a new session creating such huge amount of volume also as the Asian session had created, then you can have it as another confluence. For example, here we had the Asian session. All right, let's say here we had the Asian session generate a good volume. Okay, so that's the orange color. But if you observe, you can also see the blue color, right, which is the European session. Okay, and then you can see that the European session also had some volume on that zone. So that also tells you it's a good confluence. That it tells you that if the Asians had a good move of volume on that zone, and suddenly when the session for the Euro opened, they also created a volume around that zone also, that tells you actually that indeed there is some good amount of money there to grab. And if you observe, you would see how that after all the struggle, price shot to the upside massively. All right, so that tells you what is happening in the market. So that's just basically the strategy. It's not hard at all. If you have any question, feel free to ask. I would love to give a response to it. And if you're wondering how to trade a boom and crash market, my number one recommended broker is Deriv, which is probably the only broker that trades the boom and crash. To create an account is very simple. Go straight to the description of this video, click on the first link on the description, and it's going to take you straight to the websites of Deriv for you to create a free trading account where you can have your demo account to start practicing. And when you're confident enough, you can fund your account. There are countless ways to fund your account using Deriv. So get started now and let's keep winning. For the meantime, traders, make sure you stay safe and keep winning.